What's good? How y'all doing this evening? Welcome back to the Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. It's your boy the Don here with the new co-host for Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. Go ahead and
I'm
introduce
the
yourself, man.
king, Aaron Moses. You can find me on Twitter at Aaron Moses NC. I'm here with my boy the Don, and we about to take it to a new level. You ready, Don?
Man, you already know I'm ready, man. Let's take over, man. All right. We're here tonight to discuss. I know if y'all watched the Rivalry Week show this past Wednesday, Thanksgiving Eve, got kind of heated. It got hotter for me because I was eating on some hot lemon pepper wings. Hey, I'm here to get seconds, but I ain't talking about the wings. I'm talking about this rivalry that's been brewing up for the past 10 years now. So let's go ahead and get to it. We brought back Jalen Prince, representing Georgia Southern. Let everybody know who you are when they can find you, man.
My name is Jalen Prince, Georgia Southern alumni, class of 2020. You can find me at the Prince Boy. That's boy with an I, not a Y. 15, and just hit me up from there.
All right. And we brought back Julian. What's good, man, from Georgia State?
Yeah, how you doing, guys? My name is Julian. You can find me on Twitter at Julian Harden 3. Also have a YouTube channel, Cynical Peach. I discuss all Georgia sports, including Georgia State, and can't wait. Glad to be on here again.
All right, appreciate y'all coming back on. Hey, if you're new to the channel, y'all already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that like button. Share this content out with Atlanta sports fanatics, and hit us up in the comment section. As always, come holler at your hometown sports podcast. All right, let's get to the notes for the show. So, what happened in college football for the this past week, King?
So we got Georgia. Of course, we're going to talk about the Georgia Southern, Georgia State game. We also got to talk about the Georgia Tech and Duke game. That was a good one for Georgia Tech, not so for Duke. And you also got to talk about UGA and South Carolina.
Okay. So what was the scores for those games?
Those games were pretty much the UGA game in South Carolina was a blowout. It was, if I'm not mistaken, 48 to
It was 45 to 16.
45 to 16. Yeah, it was a blowout. And then the Georgia Tech and Duke game was another blowout for Georgia Tech.
Yeah, 56 to 33.
56-33.
Yeah. So,
man, I didn't expect Tech to come out like that. I knew that was a game that they could have won, but for them to just hang 56 points up against Duke like that, I'm like, whoa. So I guess having that COVID break, kind of made them feel some type of way.
But Duke not a good football college anyway, so
they not.
It's all about basketball over there, and it's Duke City. So
and same thing with Tech though too. If you really think about it,
yeah, true.
I feel like Tech really need to win that. It was a big game for both Tech and Duke, especially as they end the season. But I think it was good for Tech to get that win in, especially as they haven't played in a while. In fact, I can't remember the last time they played before the Duke matchup. So it's good they got back and got back. Their defense needs some work, but put 50 points, that's still impressive.
Exactly. All right. And what happened with trying to get my screen together. Baseball.
So the Braves claimed infielder. They also trying to get some of my notes here.
Jack Mayfield.
Yeah, Jack Mayfield.
Mm-hmm.
And let me get to my personal notes here.
Got a lefty.
Yeah, they got a lefty pitcher, and they boasted their bullpen. Sorry about that, y'all.
You good, man. Look, you got to get, you getting seasoned, man.
Yeah.
Seasoned, that's all.
Let me get. So they signed Charlie Morton, 1 year deal. He played for the Astros. He was on that World Series team, and he also played in the World Series last year with the Rays. So they signed him. So that bullpen is looking really nice. Really, really nice, man. Braves are going to be something serious this year.
Yeah, man. Look, it's I just feel like the team is already kind of set. They just they added more, more people to the starting rotation, and then you got the bullpen. It just, for some strange reason, in the NLCS, which we don't want to keep talking about, it just, the bats got cold those last couple of games, and you can't do that, So we just hoping. I don't know what happened with Acuna. I'm just thinking that he could have had, he might have had an injury. That's one thing. Like, he must have had an injury, because that wasn't him. That's not normal for him to go cold like that.
I mean, yeah, but I think also what people forget about that series, the Dodgers played great defense, especially then. Like Game 6, I think there was a catch by Mookie Betts that robbed a home run from Freddie Freeman. Oh yeah, too. Yeah, I feel like if that home run goes out, that's a even better chance for the Braves. But yeah, Mookie Betts and his defense in the outfield, that I feel like that's something that isn't really talked about, that really changed that series around. But I think if the Braves would lose any team, glad it was the Dodgers. Dodgers are a great team, and they did win the World Series. But I feel like the Braves are set up for a good number of years to compete for the National League in the World Series.
When I go back and look at that series, I think I said this last week. It went down to bullpen, and like which bullpen will step up more. We knew it was depleted for the starting rotation. The only people that we could rely on was Max Fried and Ian Anderson, who was just a rookie but still had a good turnout. But I just knew once we had to get deep into the bullpen, we was in a load of trouble, and it showed. Dodgers was just loaded everywhere on bullpen, even though they had some trust issues with their closer. But you got to give credit to the guys that they did that they allowed to pitch.
Yeah, that Bruce Scatterall and Julio Urias, there's some flamers out of the bullpen, and yeah, that team is deep in the bullpen, and yeah, that's why they won the World Series.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. MLS soccer. Well, we're gonna talk about that tomorrow, because we got Joe Patrick coming on the show. Exactly. So we got him coming on tomorrow. So that show will be live tomorrow at 8:30. It'll be just soccer straight, just soccer talk. That's all we're gonna talk about. We're gonna he's coming on to talk about the potential coach we are trying to hire for the team. So all my Atlanta United fans, hey, come holler at us tomorrow.
I got some news for y'all tomorrow about the Atlanta United team. Might ruffle some feathers.
Oh yeah, they go. That they all gonna come at us. So, all right, the Falcons today. Man, no one saw this coming. We won this game 43-6. This is against we beat the 7th ranked offensive team in the league.
Honestly,
and they didn't even score a touchdown.
Now, honestly,
they're a legit playoff team.
Yeah, they're a wildcard team in the AFC. So this is actually, I think, Morris's first win against a team over 500, I believe.
Yep.
I think all the other games he beat were teams under 500. And I wonder, will the Falcons may say this is what gets them to be or running for the head coach?
I don't know. You got to beat the Saints.
You got to beat the Saints.
If you beat the Saints, you give him the job.
I'm not advocating for it.
No.
I'm not advocating for it, but I think because the way Arthur Blank works is that he likes a in strong kind of guy, like we saw with Dan Quinn. And while I would preferably want someone outside of this regime, I think that you'll look at like, okay, he beat the Raiders, he beats the Saints, but I still don't think they should give him the job anyway. I think they should go for someone totally new anyway.
Thank you. We need to wipe ourselves clean from this Dan Quinn regime and this Thomas Dimitrov regime and just start anew and come up with a new identity of Atlanta Falcons football. That's just my opinion.
Two things with the Falcons. First of all, good win for them. A lot of my family were happy. They was calling my grandfather was happy and he was shocked at the same time. But like I told him, it's not down y'all draft spot right now. So he had to calm down on that. So So, like, good win on that one. Congrats for Raheem Morris. Hopefully, it'll prove his stock for the offseason if he doesn't get the job with Atlanta, but he'll get a job somewhere else. So, it'll help him out on that. Mm-hmm. My only question with y'all Falcons fans, if y'all do clean house, who the heck y'all going to get?
You talking about head coach?
Coach.
Oh, you already know. Hey, you ain't been following me. If you ain't been following me by head coach, my guy, Don Martindale.
Yep.
I love Don Martindale. Don Martindale, either him, get Matt Eberflus from Indianapolis, the defense coordinator, or you can get I like Brian DeBall up there in Buffalo. He good coach, you know. And then Dennis Allen, also the defensive coordinator for the Saints. I know a lot of people. Well, he's from the Saints. Look, he done came in.
What you got to do is business.
Is it business? He done produced a top 10 defense in New Orleans since he
that
been
defense
back with that
is
team.
Scary. That I honestly, the Saints to me look like, I don't know why this is the best iteration of Saints I've seen in a while. Honestly,
not offensively.
I'm saying defensively. This is defensively. This is by far the best. I think the best Saints defensive core I've seen in a long time.
It's because of DeMario Davis. Honestly, he puts everybody where they need to be, and he's a great linebacker. But
you also got to have that pass rush, and you got other guys stepping up besides Cam Jordan.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man.
You got Quan Alexander, who they got from San Francisco, who's done
that
wonder.
Was a good move.
Yeah,
you got Jack Rabbit. You got Jack Rabbit producing.
Yeah, it's weird because I know as fans we argue between Falcons and Saints, but the Saints are just by far just the better team. They've been so for years, and they just know how to make better moves than the Falcons have the last couple of years, honestly. That's just being unbiased.
It's all
Sean Payton's
his organization in general.
Sean Payton is good. Yeah, Sean Payton, the play calling has been good for him, you know. But you know what you're getting out of him since we knew this since 2006. But as far as that defense go, man, that defense has been pretty much helping them stay above 500, pretty much win the NFC South if we keeping it 100.
And since we keeping it 100. I get why you want to get a defensive-minded head coach. I'm thinking y'all need to go ahead and switch it up and get an offensive-minded head coach and just and just try to find a really good defensive coordinator. You think about all the team. You think about some of the best teams that are in the league right now. You think about San Francisco, who has your former guy Kyle Shanahan, but you look at Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator, who's fiery and gets that defense get that defense rowdy. You think about the LA Rams. Scott McVay, offensive mind, but the defensive coordinator has done a tremendous job with that defense.
Brandon Staley,
after they got rid of Wade Phillips, you think about the Raiders. Gruden's offensive minded, but the defense, even though the defense has been good, but like still, you look at Kansas City, Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, but like you got the defensive coordinator like Spagnuolo, who's actually been doing a pretty good job. I think
Spagnuolo is just better off as a DC, man. Like some coaches are just not good at, because he had a shot at, you know, as a head coach, and I just think with him, he just like, it's just like with Dick LeBeau. Y'all know who Dick LeBeau is, like one of the best defensive minded coaches ever, in my opinion. He wasn't good as a head coach, but he was great as a DC.
Yeah. But just looking at the way this era is going, I say it's becoming more offensive. The rules will fit more off of offense. I would just say, like, just build on that. Just try to change the regime, and just get an offensive-minded head coach and just do your best to find a really good defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I guess adding on to that, the Falcons have, I think, for exception of Petrino, who was there for like a day, then he quit. The Falcons have had a defensive coordinator for like the last 11 years or so, and I don't think that.
But here's the thing. Were those guys proven? Neither one of those guys were proven. Okay,
right.
Like Dan Quinn did not like. Yes, he was up there in Seattle, but who was the defensive-minded person up there in Seattle? Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll. All right, defense. You go to Mike Smith. All right, when he was on DC down there in Jacksonville. All right, Jack Del Rio, defensive-minded person. Yeah. So these guys would never, like, that's why I said Don Martindale is the guy, because we know John Harbaugh is not calling that defense in Baltimore.
But you think about those times, but also you got to think those rules back then was a little bit was still a part of defense. Like defense mattered back then. Now it matters somewhat, but we're starting to get more offense. You can see the transition. You think about Scott. You think about like Jeff Fisher, he was supposed to be a defensive minded guy. And then when they let him go, they got a young offensive mind, and the thing just took off from there. Andy Reid the same way. Andy Reid was the godfather. Felt like the godfather for that because he was so offensive minded. But at the time he was younger and in his prime, it was a defensive coach type of world. Now we're starting to transition into an offensive coach minded world because the rules are set to protect that. You think about the game with Kansas City and Tampa Bay. There were so many roughing the passer penalties just off of hitting the dude in the head with just by your fingertips. So you see how the rules.
I get what you're saying, but guess what? I can counter that and I can say Anthony Lynn. He's an offensive minded coach, right?
He got to go. They just need to get rid of that one. Like Anthony Lynn, and I respect him. I like Anthony Lynn, but he like the way things are going is just like it's just for a new regime. You got a quarterback. You got a new quarterback. He's gonna be your future. You got weapons. It's just like gotta get another guy.
Yeah, but I guess
that time's up.
If you want a culture like shift in Atlanta, which I want, wouldn't you want to go the opposite of what we've been doing for the last 11 years? And I
feel like with the problem with the Falcons is the front office just made bad coaching. It's just bad coaching.
You try to copy off of what the other cultures have done in the past. The thing with y'all did y'all try to copy Seattle's culture, and it didn't fit what Atlanta is about. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about the organization. I'm talking about the city and the style. With Seattle, the culture matches the city. The Saints, it matches the city. New England, it matches the city. You gotta find what matches Atlanta and the culture. And a lot of that is flashy. It's flashy.
And this is why I said, man, that Don Martindale or Rex Ryan, those type of guys.
You better not get no Rex Ryan.
Man, look, I like Rex Ryan. Look, Rex Ryan. No, y'all ain't finna.
Rex Ryan is a great coach.
Rex Ryan is a good coach.
At the end of the day,
he's a great defensive coordinator. I'll put him at D coordinator.
That circus in New Jersey. Do we not remember that circus in New Jersey that was lost?
No, here's the thing though. When he was out there in New York, he didn't have no offense. You got to think about it. Whoever's coming into this team is gonna have an offense. We got offense. We got Matt Ryan. We got Julio.
What did he do at Buffalo?
We got
What did he do at Buffalo?
Man, he was burnt out. Him and the relation. Go back and watch the episode. No, go back and watch the episode that I did with Rex Ryan about Rex Ryan. I had two guys who was on for the Jets. They do a Jets podcast. All right. They said that the GM and Rex Ryan, those last two seasons when he was in New York, he was burnt out of coaching. So when he went over there to Buffalo, like he was already tired, man. You could tell by looking at those games, man, he just didn't give a damn. That's why he stepped away from coaching. If Rex Ryan after that 2016 season when he got fired, he could have easily got him a job somewhere else.
Yeah, but Arthur Blank even take the time to interview Rex Ryan because Arthur Blank
y'all still need a GM too.
Arthur Blank doesn't like big mouth people. He likes people who don't really have issues. And he may look at his interview, like the Rex Ryan's interviews on television, his outbursts on television, say that's not what we want in Atlanta. So he may be put off by that.
Well, he just said he wanted a leader of men. That's what he said in his conference.
But I also
few weeks ago. So the leader of men to me that screams Rex Ryan. That screams Don Martindale. That does scream Dennis Allen to me.
I get what you're saying on that, but I'm still looking at the same fact. This is starting to be this is an offensive era. You got to start changing up. You got to bounce. You got to get off that. You got to get off the defensive minded coach. You have that at D coordinator. You got to get on the offensive trail.
You got to stop somebody though. At the end of the day, you got to play defense at one point in time. You got to stop.
You right. Look at Kansas City. Their defense was struggling, and their defense was struggling early, but then they started to pick it up.
Look at
Andy Reid was not offensive.
Plus, Kansas City's a very big, don't break defense anyway, so it's not like they had to be elite to win a Super Bowl in the first place.
Yeah, you don't need an elite defense to win a Super Bowl. It's already been proven.
But let's be real though with San Francisco. Kyle Shanahan, as usual, went and winning the business for himself, and they lost that Super Bowl. He lost it the same way how he was in Atlanta. If we just keeping it 100.
Yeah, I'm keeping it 100. I just think that Kyle Shanahan is the reason why the Falcons won and lost that Super Bowl in 2016. Yeah, when it was just along for the ride. And I don't know why fans, even to this day, still defend Dan Quinn and say he was a good coach and that we fired him prematurely. I will never understand that.
Oh man, I ain't gonna lie, I give Kyle Shanahan his credit. Yes, because we did walk into. We had the best offense in the league, but we walked in that Super Bowl in Houston with the 27th ranked defense.
Yep.
That right there, that should have never happened. But that offense was so potent, it got us there. But guess what? When we got there, that New England defense showed up.
Defense, yeah, we needed defense.
I get that, but
game.
Dan Quinn, the defense was spotty, was inconsistent. It would show up some days and then not the other. And I wish the offense would have finished it off, but I will also add that Tevin Coleman getting hurt in that Super Bowl really hurt the playbook for that game because he did go out early.
Let's go back to that 2016 year, and you talk about the defense was spotty and a little bit inconsistent. The job that they did on Aaron Rodgers in that NFC Championship game was absolutely tremendous. And I gotta give credit. I gotta give credit to both.
I know. I'm just saying they're spotty because they show up in those games, but somebody say they show up in others.
But you got to think that first half, Grady Jarrett showed the world who he is.
He did.
He still holds the record for most sacks in the Super Bowl, and as a defensive unit. Also, I'm also trying to think. Did Desmond Trufant play the rest of that season, or did
he was out? He was out for that season.
He was out.
Okay, there's a lot of things.
We also lost Clay too on that NFC. Was it divisional round that we lost?
Clay who?
Claiborne, Adrian Claiborne.
I think it was the NFC divisional game against Seattle.
That was the divisional game. We lost him. So we lost two good players going into that playoffs. But let's be real. That I ain't even worried about the divisional game. But that NFC Championship game,
that was the best game probably in history.
It was, but guess what? If we would have played, the team was not healthy. The Packers was not healthy
at all.
And then on top of that, they was snow in that Saturday morning before they post. They didn't get to Atlanta that to Saturday night, so they really didn't have that much time to prep. I'm saying if everything, I'm not saying that we never deserved to win. When we came out, we won the game. That's it. You can't change it.
You punched him in the mouth immediately. You forced a lot of turnovers, and you got the Aaron Rodgers to the thing that I didn't think y'all would do, and that was get pressure on him. Not only that, you did not miss opportunities. The problem with Anthony Lynn and the Chargers, they missed too many opportunities. Y'all took advantage of the opportunities that the Packers gave y'all that game. I watched that whole game.
I was at the game.
It was amazing.
I was at the game. Probably my most cherished moment of being a fan of this team was that NFC Championship.
Another problem I got is the same problem I got with Georgia State, not taking a shot. How do y'all have a full pack house in the last game of the Georgia Dome, but when y'all transition over to Mercedes-Benz, it's there's too many damn open.
The team has only had one winning season moving there, though.
But here's the thing: do you know how much them tickets cost?
Exactly.
Okay, I'll give you that. The food is good. The food prices are good.
It's only when you get in the stadium.
When you get in the stadium, it's cheap. But
how is Atlanta United cheaper than the Falcons?
It's not the same. NFL prices and MLS prices are different, man. They on a totally different level. Like MLS, they not finna charge you an arm and a leg to get in there. Like I can get a good seat at Mercedes-Benz Stadium and sit in the club section. And I'll pay $100. But if I want to get a club seat, well, if I want to get a cheap seat, a nosebleed seat in the Mercedes-Benz, but you spending over $150, and that's one seat.
Exactly. People talk about the food. That's when we get inside the stadium, or if you get inside the stadium.
If you get in, yeah.
And plus, considering the Falcons haven't played all that well since moving there, there's no really incentive to go there in the first place.
Well, they didn't make the playoffs. They just never had a playoff game in there.
I'm saying that one season, that first season, make the playoffs, and after that, it's been pretty bad. Where they would start off really ugly, then end strong, and it's the same story over and over again. And I don't blame Falcons fans for not wanting to go because you got to have a good team to go there.
Well, look. My thing is ride or die, win, lose, draw. I'm gonna still support my Falcons, so I'm just a diehard. But we know that Atlanta is a transit city. There's a lot of things to do in the city. You can go. Wherever you want to go, I'm not going to name places or whatever, but it's places to go. So if you're not producing, you're not putting a good product on the field or on the court, on the diamond, no one's going to show up. So that's reality. But that's to answer your question. But the tickets are at these stadiums, these new stadiums that they built in Atlanta are high.
Understood.
So gentrifying the areas too, so that's awesome around them.
Exactly. So let's get back to the game. Matt Ryan, he went 22 for 39, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ito Smith had 12 carries for 65 yards, 1 touchdown. Brian Hill 13 carries for 55 yards. So pretty much running back by committee today. Calvin Ridley 6 receptions for 50 yards, 1 touchdown. Hayden Hurst 4 receptions, 48 yards. and Russell Gage 3 receptions for 34 yards. The Raiders, they had 4 fumbles and 1 interception. Pick 6 by Deion Jones. Falcons, 5 sacks. So this is the first time this season I've seen this D-line get to the quarterback, which was good. Other than that, outside of this game, man, we just been like, where y'all at? Like, they not showing up. Quarterback got all day to call his wife and iron clothes back there in the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so, but yeah, we won the time of possession in this game, 34 minutes and 57 seconds over the Raiders, 25 minutes and 3 seconds. And we did get some penalties early in the game, but yeah, the Raiders still had more. They had 11, we had 6.
Yeah.
I will be talking about potential GM hires. I like the guy Horwitz from Baltimore. He's been a college scouter since 2000. If you know anything about the Ravens on defense, like Ed Reed and all those guys, Horwitz is your guy to hire. Arthur Blank, Rich McKay. If y'all listening to this, if y'all ever get a copy of this and listen to it, but y'all need to bring him in as our GM. Either him or I like Patton from Minnesota. So
yeah. Hey, question for you guys: do you think that this is a game that the Raiders played poorly or the Falcons played well?
Poorly. I think this was a trap game. This is a trap. This was a trap game for the Raiders, if we're being honest. And
I don't. Go ahead.
I won't say trap game. I just think Oakland played. It was one of those games where Oakland thought they was gonna walk in.
I'm in Vegas. My bad.
And it didn't happen. So that's how I think what happened.
Let's look at it like this. I think the Raiders were one of the best rushing teams in the NFL, led by former Alabama national champion Josh Jacobs. They only rushed for 40 yards. So I got to take credit on that. So I look at that. The way Atlanta was able to run the ball, which was a big shot with me because I kept thinking as bad as the offensive line has been playing for this season, they haven't been able to run the ball like that. But the Raiders' run defense is one of the worst in the league, and that's a big problem. They're a good playoff champion. They're a good playoff contending team, but like the fact that they got the same problems as the Kansas City Chiefs have. They can't they're struggling to stop the run. So that's one of the big problems. The other big surprise for me, it wasn't even on offense. It was defense. I gotta ask you something. Is Foyer Louis Khan, is he a Pro Bowler this year?
I think so.
He should be. He should be. If not, he should be alternate.
Doesn't he lead the league in forced fumbles?
He's tied third.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been. Third. I mean, he's been. I mean, even when his first year, I think 2018, when everyone was injured, he was a star. I mean, he's really coming to his own. So yeah, Foyer, he's definitely for me one of the MVPs on the defense side.
I knew when we drafted this man, he was going to be good because I watched his film when he played for Yale. You play for a school like that, man. Like, forget we know you got two type of players. You got athletic players and you got these high IQ football IQ. I will take the high football IQ player any day of the week because you know what's going to happen. Your reaction time is totally different from an athletic player. So
like overall, it was a really good performance by Atlanta. Like a lot of good to see, but like Oakland, but like Las Vegas just played bad. Derek Carr having a lot of fumbles. The offensive line did a bad job as far as like pass protecting. I mean, I think the biggest turnaround was when Trent Brown had that leg injury going into the game, and they was just not able to protect him as much. Guys wasn't getting as open. Nelson Aguilar looking like the guy that he was when we were back in Philly, and I can't figure out why they don't feed Henry Ruggs that much.
I can't
figure that out.
I was thinking that awesome catch earlier.
And also, like, think about this. And I don't have this on me. Where does Atlanta's defense rank among covering tight ends in fantasy?
Ooh, God, that's one of the worst. That's one of the bad ones.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Dirk doesn't utilize his tight ends. He does not utilize his running backs.
He got one of the best tight ends in football.
But I'm telling you, look, he had OJ Howard in Tampa Bay. Remember, he didn't even use his man.
Yeah,
he did not use this man at all. And when he was in Tampa, they didn't even have a run game. That's why I shook my hand to the cloud when we hired this man back.
Rehired.
I knew our defense, I knew our offense was going to be like it's going to take a step back.
Yeah,
we look good. We look good today, but I want to see can we do good against these Saints.
Yeah, the funny thing
I just don't see it.
The funny thing was, I remember when.
But at least y'all have a quarterback, unlike Denver did today.
Oh God, yeah.
Man.
That was just pitiful. And that game was so bad that Fox literally said, "And enough of this. We changing it."
Good for them. But I'm just saying, I see some Falcons people who work some like Falcon Force saying that we're all the Cotier haters now because the Falcons scored 40 points. I'm like, are you really gonna say that this game overwrites everything that he's done? Oh man, revisionist history.
I just don't trust the play calling with Atlanta. I'm not even a Falcons fan. I'm a Seahawks fan. I love my Hawks, but like when you got a family full of Falcons fans, you got to know what you're talking about. So
it's I agree. We've been saying this a lot. It's just been coaching with the Falcons. That's the problem. I promise you bring in.
But I gotta go. But
you bring in more competent coaches, our team is gonna get better.
But that's only the 50 part. There's the other half. I get why y'all like Matt Ryan. I really do. Not saying that he's a bad. He can't move. Not like that.
Yes, you come on, man. Look,
I will go here. I will go here.
Stop.
I'm listening.
Stop it. Let me tell you something.
I'm listening.
Back in 2000 last year and 2018, Matt Ryan was the third most sacked quarterback. Do you know who the top two was?
Carson Wentz.
No.
And Russell Wilson.
No, it was Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Mobile quarterbacks.
Thank you.
Both mobile quarterbacks.
So it doesn't matter if you can run in the pocket, if you can scramble around or not. Like
you ain't got no O-line, you ain't.
You mentioned two guys that made the playoffs those last 2 years.
Matt Ryan ain't got no defense.
Russell.
We ain't got no defense.
You have a competent coach though. Come on, you guys have a competent coaching staff, though.
Okay, I'll give you that.
And then
even Bill O'Brien's is managely better than Dan Quinn.
Everybody's better.
What are we talking about?
I'm saying in terms of like he's marginally better than Dan Quinn, Bill O'Brien, like to a certain point.
Okay, here's the reason why I will slightly disagree with you. I don't think Dan Quinn would have traded Julio Jones for a couple. For
he's a bad GM. He's a terrible GM. GM move.
Yeah, Bill O'Brien was the GM. Now, if we talking about straight coaching, then I give him. I can tip my hat off to this man because he made the playoffs more than Dan Quinn. But GM, oh no, we don't know what
Dan Quinn made the playoffs twice. In his 5-6 year, 5-6 year tenure.
Going back to what y'all said. I never said Matt Ryan was trash. I'm not one of them idiots to say he's trash. The dude's one of the best quarterbacks in the game. He won an MVP for a reason. I'm just saying, if you're not going to fix your offensive line, get a guy that can move. Because it doesn't look like you're going to fix your offensive line. Jake Matthews, at times, I think my grandfather asked me about Jake Matthews. What you think? I think he got to be a Pro Bowler. He ain't shown that yet. What happened to Alex Mack? Because I remember when y'all got him in 2016, he was the free agent of the year. He was the pickup of the year, and he's kind of fit. Okay, I get that, but still, like, if we see how the quarterbacks are looking now. They're more mobile. You pointed out Russell. You pointed out Deshaun. They're getting beat up every day. You saw what happened. You saw what happened with Joe Burrow. If you don't get an offensive line, they're gonna get you killed. I understand that completely. We ain't talk about Cam.
You got to have an offensive line. That's games.
I understand that.
One in the trenches. If you cannot win in the trenches, you're not winning anything.
But you also got to be able to extend some plays to a variety. I understand your offensive line is bad.
I'm telling you, but here's the thing.
Matt Ryan can do that.
I'm telling you, it's the play calling, man. Look, if you know anything about Dirk, this man want to do these long developing plays downfield.
He can't do it. Not enough time.
You can't do that. This is why I said, man, we need to bring in somebody who got some creativity on offense, man. Like Sark, when we had Sarkill, it wasn't this bad. It was not this bad. Now, some
first season
you can scratch, but it was not this bad.
In his first season, maybe, but second season,
I'm enjoying Sark. I'm enjoying Sark and T-Town right now. Like, I'm enjoying him. I'm enjoying him.
Yeah, but this is
I'm good.
As a compromise to both sides, I for now keep Matt Ryan, but once his contract gets to the point where his cap hit doesn't kill the Falcons,
can y'all just get a backup? Can y'all draft a backup?
Look, I'm not getting rid of Matt Ryan, man.
I didn't say get rid of Matt Ryan, but get a successor.
I'm not doing that either. Like what's successor? So you telling me? Oh no! So you telling me we gonna draft somebody a quarterback in the first round Do you know how much money you're gonna pay this man? So we gonna have somebody that's we paying 15 to 25 mil to sit on the bench.
Pretty much.
How much we paying the backup?
Jordan Love.
We paying him what, 4 mil?
Okay, I'll give you that.
I'm not gonna pay nobody no 15 to 25 mil to sit on the bench. We ain't got cap space like that. We ain't got money like that.
That's what I'm saying. Wait until the next year when his habit doesn't hurt.
Julian, I get you saying, like when he gets to his last year on his contract or whatever. Okay, cool. You can bring somebody in, but not right now. Like not in these next couple of years. I'm not drafting his successor.
Yeah, but his deal expires what 2022, 2023, something like that.
2022.
Okay, so 2021. Evaluate your options, especially because I doubt that we're going to sign him to another long-term deal again. And I don't want them to do the thing with the Saints doing with Drew Brees, kick the can down the road, and it hurts the team even more. Like financially, our situation is so bad. I'm not sure it will be good for the Falcons to keep on extending Matt Ryan until he's 40. Because you've seen what's happened to Drew Brees. He's a shell of his former self, and now the Saints are kind of. I don't know.
Did y'all give Grady his time? Did y'all give Grady an extension?
Yeah.
Dion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, then you good.
And here's the thing. And you
is Keanu getting an extension?
I wouldn't.
No. He's injury prone, so no. But here's my thing, though. A lot of people. I'm gonna upset a lot of people with this. They're gonna end up giving. They're gonna extend Matt Ryan 2 more years on that contract. That I'm just.
That's why I'm saying. But I'm saying at least get your successor as a backup. Do what the Packers did, and at least got them 2 Super Bowls.
Look, man.
Why would you do that, Don? Why would we do that?
Why? Because how the cap looks. Well, if you extend this man, if you tack 2 more years on his contract, that'll open up more money. So that way you can bring in guys. You can bring in free agents.
Yeah, but won't we just kicking the can down the road? Because we saw the Saints, they kept on pushing money around, but at some point that it gets to the point where, oh yeah, we're in cap hell because all those bonuses we had to put at the very end of the deal. Because
they banking on Drew Brees winning the Super Bowl. I'm not banking on Matt Ryan winning the Super Bowl. It would be great to win one with him. It would be great to win one with him and Julio. But at the same time, I'm just looking at it as a business standpoint, man. It's business. And here's my thing. What if Matt Ryan wants to say that he want to play into his 40s? Like I'm just gonna if I'm off the blank, listen, if I'm off the blank, stop. If I'm off the blank, all right, and I'm just saying Matt Ryan, to me, I'm gonna be honest with you. He deserves to retire as a Falcon. I don't care what anybody say.
He's earned
it. He should be. Yeah. Look, he's the best quarterback that ever put on the black and red. Can't nobody sit here and deny that at all. And I feel like
you would try.
Man, look, I ain't studying no press.
No big people.
No, stop. I'm not.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I know they would try.
I'm not studying those crusty lips, Jabot wearing, doggone 2004 Impala driving Vic stains. I'm not studying them at all. All right. Matt Ryan is the best quarterback that we ever donned the black and red jersey here in Atlanta, Georgia. All right. Now, I'm not. If the man want to play to his 40s, let the man play into his 40s. Now, if we see a huge decline in him, all right, cool. But I feel like if you bring in a competent offensive coordinator who's going to play on the strengths of Matt Ryan, why not keep him here?
Yeah, but that coordinator will probably get poached the following year. We saw at Shanahan, we had one mediocre season, and then his best season, he got poached to go to San Francisco. And I don't blame him.
But at that time, Kyle Shanahan established an identity. Right now, y'all have no identity.
I'm saying, but if you bring in an offensive coordinator, he's going to get poached and go somewhere else.
Yeah, you can, but this is why you build a culture, a front office that would keep them here and keep them happy. Like, this is why you see sometimes don't nobody leave New England. Look what happened with McDaniels. He's supposed to be in Indianapolis.
Okay, as a you talking about coaches?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or what? Cornell? Yeah, is his name?
Romeo Cornell. Yeah, he left, but that was early in Belichick's tenure. All right, we talking about now. Like McDaniels was supposed to leave to go to Indianapolis back in 2018, but he
did them wrong.
That, and he went back to New England. He's thinking that he's going to end up taking that spot from Belichick. I don't know. We'll wait to see on that.
But Belichick coaches don't ever do real good.
They don't. They don't.
Get somebody from Andy Reid's tree.
Hey, that's
Man,
a possibility. I don't want Eric.
I'm not big on Eric being in me, man.
I don't want.
Not saying him. Not saying him. Get somebody
want,
else that's from Detroit.
I think Ultra Shadow said Arthur Smith, the Titans OC. I mean,
I like Arthur Smith. I like Arthur Smith, Brian DeBall. Those two offensive guys that I like, because they're calling their own offense for their respectful team.
But I feel like the Falcons. I think something like we talked about. We need a strong run game too. Like Gurley's been fine, but we gotta get. I know some fans want to see Gurley here permanently. Like, no, he's good for one. He's good for one season, but we gotta get some fresh legs here. Exactly. Especially maybe like the third, maybe early as the third round.
Don't get Najee.
I doubt
they'll use your first round pick for Najee.
I think they want a bell cow. So someone in the second or third round.
We need a bell cow. We need a bell cow.
Yeah, I mean,
cat bats.
Like we're relying too much on our wide. I know we're a pass heavy team, but one thing I don't like about Cotier is that when he first got here, like his first tenure here, we were a balanced team, running the ball and we could pass. We had Roddy White, Michael Turner, but then when he got here, we got to the championship, but we were so one dimensional, and we've been one dimensional, maybe except for that year with Shanahan. And so I wanted for us to go back to this team that's balanced offensively, and right now we're not that.
The thing with y'all is going back to 2016, y'all established an identity. Y'all were a zone running, play action pass team. Y'all stuck with that to the point where you had the best offensive. You had a top 3 offensive line behind the Cowboys at the time. Y'all established an identity. When you look at it, since Kyle Shanahan's left, the identity went away, and you started doing too many other things.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the Hawks. We was on that topic for a good minute.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Falcons are complicated.
Hawks new starting 5. You got Bogdanovich. He's officially a Hawk now. That we also signed Solomon Hill. Preseason will start December 11th against the Orlando Magic, and we also play them on the 13th. So I think. I don't know, man. We got to see how this new core mesh together. I'm not going to sit up here and say, "Oh man, we just go on and just." No, we got to see how they mesh.
Y'all made the playoffs. Y'all made the playoffs.
They made the playoffs, but chemistry means a lot in basketball.
True,
it does.
Well, let's look at this. I saw the video of Trae Young taking the whole Hawks team, including the new guys, to the beach, and they started working out, just getting to know each other. So, and safely distance and all the other stuff. I'm a Thunder fan, so I'll just leave it at that. But Trae Young's gonna take a big step this year. That's what I believe. If they stay healthy, I'm really looking at Lloyd Pearson on how he's gonna coach the team. So yeah, you mentioned chemistry, but the biggest thing you mentioned chemistry. You got Rondo, who's gonna be tremendous for Trae Young. You also got Chris Dunn, who's a combo guard. You think about you just stole Bogdanovich, and a lot of contending teams, they really wanted him, including the Lakers. They wanted him, and the Bucks. They want him, and he want to come to ATL. So I think Bogdanovich should start because of his clip game and his deep and he's not a bad defender. But the biggest thing is establish identity on who you guys are, and have a consistent starting lineup. And the biggest thing is you got to figure out who's going to be starting where, because you got a lot of talent on your team that you better figure something out before ego start playing into it.
You said you think Trae Young gonna take a big step. He was averaging almost 30 last year. How much bigger of a step do you think he's gonna take?
It's gonna produce winning.
It's gonna be a lot.
Okay. I can respect.
It's gonna produce winning. It's one thing about taking a big personal step, individualized, where he was the number 1 point guard that was elected into the All-Star game, but actually taking that big step where your production not only inspires yourself but inspires the team, and it shows in winning. Where you're a top 8 seed, preferably six or below.
Yeah, I think for the Hawks it's also 5? Defensive. Yeah, I think the Hawks also need defense.
5 is a number, numeral, and digit.
I think the defense also needs to take a step up. So I'm worried about the starting lineup. So I think I saw one starting line with Trae at the 1, Bogdanovich at the 2, Gargani at the 3, Collins at the 4, and Capella at the 5.
I wouldn't do it.
with the defense being a big need, you maybe take the risk put Chris Dunn in the starting lineup because Chris Dunn provides more of that defense that the Hawks need. The Hawks were one of the worst, I think, if not the worst team on defense last season. And you're allowing nearly 120 points. I think they allowed close to 120 points per game. I know it's a short season, but that's still unacceptable. And this team, night after night, struggled. So even with Capella, you need someone who can lock down defenders. And I think putting Chris Dunn in the starting lineup possibly could help that.
Chris Dunn and then Rondo.
Another thing is that bench.
You got to think about it too. I'm sorry. You go ahead.
The bench with who we got coming off the bench is going to keep us in games. So, like you said, Trae Young can make that big step. So he don't got to come off the bench, and now we down 25. He can come off.
Rondo needs to be your sixth man.
I don't think so. I think it has to be one of the young talents that we drafted last year.
Here's what I think. I
think Cam Reddish should be your sixth man, and I feel like DeAndre Hunter you gotta put him in the lineup somehow because Rondo, and that's defense. Like, and I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on DeAndre Hunter's leadership. This man has his leadership to me. It really parallels Tim Duncan. I'm not saying that he was a good basketball player like Tim Duncan. I'm not saying that, but I'm talking about as far as leadership go and how the way he carried himself. It's similar to Tim Duncan.
Yeah, he was a leader on that.
My projected starting lineup. I would get Trey at the 1, Bogdanovic 2. I got Hunter at the 3. John Collins and Capella are the back set.
So you're putting Hunter. You said you're putting.
Yeah,
Hunter
I'm putting him at the 3.
Hunter?
Yes, he can play the 3. He can play the 3. He's actually done a pretty good job on perimeter guys. That long lane, because I can't put him at the 4.
If I'm starting anybody, I'm starting Cam because Cam's a better shooter.
I understand that, but you're talking about you need defense. You already got two guys that can shoot. He's a 3-and-D type of 3-and-D type of guy. Even though John Collins' 3-point shot has gotten better, I really don't know how to describe John Collins. I really don't. Y'all gonna have to do that for me.
He's just one of those players. I'm not a John Collins fan. I really don't think he's as good as people make it seem. But I'm gonna let you take that one, Don, because
I'm gonna be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if they trade me. Travis Link did say they're gonna be aggressive in acquiring stars. So if it came down to a trade, I don't know which star they were talking about, but if it came down to a trade, and if they can't find an extension, I wouldn't be shocked if John Collins is the one to be moved because teams are probably going to ask about him anyway.
Look, man, I think that we're targeting. I'm not trying to sit up here and sound like a dumb fan, but we may end up trying to target Giannis to Atlanta. Him and Bogdanovic, they are already cool.
We don't have the money, I don't think. I mean,
but
space.
But you can make space.
You can make space.
You can make space.
You trade right. You can make space.
I will be interested to see that. I mean, I wonder what he have any interest about coming to Atlanta because free agents don't usually like to come here. So. No, but players usually don't. In its history, the Hawks are seen as a very boring team.
We got to win.
Only because we got to win. Look at the players.
You got to show signs of winning.
Yeah, look at the players we have now. Since Trae Young has got there, Atlanta has been a different culture of a team.
That's why I'm saying the Hawks just can't make the playoffs. They have a really good playoff series. They don't have to win it, but if they win, say like a game or two and make it competitive, then that raises more, maybe more attention to the free agents.
Another key thing: Trae Young needs that He needs that counterpart the way Steph did with Clay. He needs that other guy that's another sniper to his level. He needs another guy, and Bogdanovic. Yeah, that's got to be. They got to show signs that they're the next group of Splash Brothers. They have to show that sign. If they show that sign, stars are gonna come because they want to play with those shooters. And plus, Trae and Bog are not selfish.
Trae Young, let me tell you something about Trae Young. Everybody knows how good this kid is. All right, like rest in peace, Kobe. Kobe was willing to work with this man this past off season. But he passed away.
Yep,
the COVID season, you never know. The Hawks after that All-Star break, we could have turned it up and kind of could have snuffed into the playoffs.
That would have been hard, but yeah.
It would have been hard, but it could have happened.
Anything could happen, I give you that.
Yeah, it could have happened. So we don't know how that, how Cam Reddish, DeAndre Hunter, even Kevin Huerter would have done. We knew what we got in Trae. but we still don't even know what we have in these other players that we acquired last year.
Talk about y'all first round draft pick that y'all got.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh Jesus.
Big O.
Yeah, Big O.
Oh,
we brought him as he's going to be another big man for the Atlanta Hawks, and I think what they're hoping that he can do is, since he's obviously going to come off the bench, he can learn from the other big men we have. So I think they're maybe I don't know. This is me thinking. Maybe since they know they have Capella, and since if they need to trade for a star or get for a star, they can possibly move Capella. Then they can probably move him to that center spot to replace him. So I think they see a lot in the fact that he can play. You can play some solid defense, and he can be that kind of pair for Trae Young to be able to get balls to the hoop in the paint. So I think that's more future plans for Big O than I think people are realizing. Go ahead. I just think that I think he's going to be used for. I don't think the Hawks are going to be able to hold on for Capella for past this season, and I think they're looking at him to possibly replace Capella in the future.
Yeah, he's gonna be one person for small ball center line.
And he's the thing. As far as rebound, he's the best rebounder in the rebound player in the draft.
Yeah.
One person y'all haven't mentioned. What are y'all gonna do about DeAndre Bembry?
He's gone.
Yeah, he been left.
He's gone.
Oh, he already left?
I think he went to Detroit or Toronto or.
So how much I was paying attention.
Yeah, he's gone.
All right. Let me ask this question real quick from Ultra Shadow. It's about the Falcons. He said, "Will you be doing y'all gonna do a video on Brian the Ball? I just got to reach out to a Buffalo Bill expert writer to come on the show. So be looking out for that. Hopefully in the next few weeks." All right. Now let's get to the focal point of the show. Finally, this time arrived. Now State is now 4-3 over Southern. How do you feel about this? Let's start with Jalen. How do you feel about this?
If we would have done this show yesterday, I would have gone into an epic rant to the next level of what Stephen A. Smith would have probably done. I probably would have cussed a lot. My mother would have got mad but Alabama won. I was working the Alabama Auburn Iron Bowl game yesterday, so I'm in a good mood. Also, I got the tweet early this morning that we just released. The office court the best. We let go of office coordinator because I was really, and I tried to be respectful as I can because I'm a Georgia Southern alumni. A lot of people even on that staff and to the players, they know who I am, so I would try to be respectful and not name any names. But it's gone now, so I ain't got to worry about that. I don't like wishing upon somebody losing their job to an extent because they would have families. So I'm gonna keep it like that. From what I took away from the game, bad play call. I'll keep it simple. One, congrats to Georgia State. They did exactly what they're supposed to do for the first time ever. You've seen a Georgia team in the Atlanta area actually come back from a lead instead of blowing. That's number two. We gave them the game. It was completely understood. Logan Wright was balling. Our defense was balling. Raymond Johnson looked like he's gonna be playing on Sundays in the future. He's gonna be in the NFL. Number 0 on our defense. Played absolutely well. Give credit to the receivers of Georgia State. They made plays on the way they should. Number 4, the quarterback did his thing because when we stopped getting pressure, everything just kind of killed it from there. You mentioned like losing Wesley guys like Wesley Kennedy and CJ Wright. I guess certain times, moments like could we use them, but like we were still up. We still had chances, but the way the game was going offensively, Shaw was not right. That shoulder was not right. And the way I look at the two between Shaw Worth and backup quarterback Justin Thomas, they're two different types of quarterbacks. You got one that can throw better than the other. And you got one that can run triple option and runs better. They're not pretty much like it's still in development. So I look at that, but I also got to go with the way you handle that is by a really good coach and knowing your strength and knowing the strength of the quarterback. And when that wasn't like going right, and you try to force feed a situation, it just looked bad, and Georgia State did the right thing. They took advantage of that. So I'm going to give them the credit. They had the lead right now. It's okay. This is a rare season with 2020, the way everything's working. Hopefully by next year, everything will be back to normal. More fans will come in. So, and it was their day. I'm not going to take nothing away from that. All right. That's all I got to really say. I'm upset. As a Georgia Southern fan. but like there was really nothing we could do. Like that was on us. We blew the lead.
All right, Julian.
Well, I actually covered the game, and I have to say, even with COVID capacity, that was probably one of the most electric games I've been to this season. The Georgia Southern fans were obviously loud, especially to start the game. Of course, it became like crickets at the end, and Georgia State's crowd was really hyped there. And I think that I think there was a lot of back and forth between the two fan bases. Like I think I'm not sure who said it, but someone said that that it wasn't a rivalry between the two programs. And I know that before the game, we talked to a lot of the players and coaches. They weren't happy about that. And to say what Coach Elliott said, he says he doesn't give a damn. This is a rivalry, and it's interesting. And I believe one of the Georgia Southern I want to say in the athletic department said this wasn't intended to be a rivalry, but it was made so because the Eagles lost the first few matchups, and it wasn't supposed to be this way. And so they won the last two, and but Georgia State was able to come up with this one. And I think one of the things I took away from the game is that going forward, this rivalry, even if Southern fans don't want to admit it is, even though it is, considering that feelings tend to get wound up when it comes to this game, that I feel like for one thing, this wasn't really covered the way I really wanted to. This game was on ESPN Plus, but I feel like as this game
ESPN3, much worse.
Oh yeah, ESPN3. But I feel like this game gets bigger, especially as Georgia State, because Georgia State's offense this year was, it was probably one of the best. It was probably arguably even better than last year's.
Mm-hmm.
The run game, while it wasn't there the whole game, this run game did really well. But also, I'll also say Quad Brown made the adjustment. He made a big touchdown on 3rd and 1 that got the Panthers right back in the game. And I think that Georgia State especially if they fix their defense, this rivalry will become a lot more important as time goes on, because I think eventually you're going to get to the point where both teams are 6-1 in the East, and they're going to play each other, and it's going to be a must-see game. Next year is going to be in Georgia Southern, and I think especially with the recruits in another year under the belt for Quad Brown, that the Georgia State will still get better. And I think you'll see an evolution in their offense even better than they were this season. But for now, Georgia State is a 4-3 lead in the series. And no matter how Southern fans try to rationalize it, I mean, State for right now is the better of the two.
All right. Why does this rivalry mean a lot now? Because this is called, you got Georgia and Georgia Tech. You call it
old-fashioned hate.
Now this is called new hate.
Modern day hate.
Or modern day hate, whatever it's called. Modern day hate. All right. So why does this rivalry mean a lot now? And
Julian, you go ahead on this one.
Okay, so I will say that I think this means a lot now, in part because Tech and Georgia games just aren't really that competitive. They haven't been that competitive recently.
Yeah.
Like those games, they like at the most Georgia Tech will score a touchdown, make it 7-7, and then by the end of the game it's like 48-10 or whatever. And so the games aren't that competitive. They put them at 12 p.m. No one cares about those games. And I'm just being honest. Like Georgia fans took over Bobby Dodd Stadium last year. There was no energy to see that game whatsoever. So you can't promote it as if it's like a big time rivalry, because it's not. I feel with this one, especially since how new Georgia State was, they came into Paulson Stadium and they shocked everyone and beat Georgia Southern. No one expected that, and then they did it again and again. And it was until that Southern, because I think at one point Southern brung to the Georgia Dome at one point, Paulson Stadium North.
Yep.
Now, unfortunately for them, they lost that game.
Nope.
And they were able to figure it out. So I think
not the first time.
But I feel like, this is modern day because both teams, one same state, but even more same conference, and they're in the same division. So these teams have to beat each other to get to the Sun Belt Championship. Exactly. Now, I think Georgia Southern has one Sun Belt Championship. Georgia State still doesn't have that yet. But as these teams continue to play each other and get better, you're going to see, I think this will eventually come to a point where it's going to have to be on either ESPN2 or ESPN be covered, because these teams are going to be playing each other, and the fan bases, every time you bring up Georgia State, Georgia Southern, it's always state not Southern, or Southern never states. And I think in a video on Twitter they talked about, Georgia Southern said that game means a lot. The metropolitan versus the rural, whatever that is in states.
The rural area, the rural small town college
yeah.
town.
So I think since Tech and Georgia really aren't that competitive, State and Southern have grown to be competitive. Even when one is down, the other one is. They both come back, like the Falcons and Saints. Even when one is down and the one's having a great season, they will still base that season off, did we beat that rival? And for Southern and State, that's the case.
Yep.
All right.
Jalen?
It's simple with me. It's about the real. It's about the title for the real GSU. It's plain and simple about that. We both use those analogies. We get it that the nation pretty much like gave y'all that one because of the state word. We have Southern. It makes it makes a whole lot simpler. I had to talk to a lot of people in the media with that, even at ESPN. So I just let it go after that. The reason why it's really mixed with me. It matters more to me basketball-wise because of the level of play, because Georgia Southern and Georgia State will always be in the top contender in basketball, and that is shown to be a fact. So I would say it's more rivalry towards basketball than it is football. I understand that Georgia Southern, Georgia State's football has beaten us and they lead the series, but it's not going to be seen as a rivalry until Georgia State wins a championship or at least beat Appalachian State. The reason why we don't see it as football fans with Georgia Southern is because what has Georgia State really done football wise? Yes, they've beaten us, but have they won their bowl games or gone consistently, have consistent wins yeah, I understand that you got your bowl game, but have they gone consistently? Can they not be like a laughing mediocrity? And besides, you had a couple of good seasons. We'll give you respect on that. But other than that, and you think about years before, you mentioned it, haven't won a Sun Belt title. Got to win that. You got to beat Appalachian State. Since we've been in the conference, you've never beaten them, and both us and Appalachian State came into this conference as heated rivals going back to the FCS days. And they do the same thing as much as we do. They win their stuff and we got theirs. They send their players to the NFL and so do we. So we see more of that football-wise because if you talk about being on ESPN2 and all that other stuff and like national television-wise, we've had more national television games with y'all in basketball than we do in football. But in football, we have more national televised games with Appalachian State to the point they always put us on a Thursday night game. And we get tired of it because that should be on a Saturday game. At least on some of them weeks where like college football doesn't have another big matchup in the Power 5. Other than that, we see more Appalachian State because them jokers have been the top dog, and y'all can't deny it. Them jokers been running roughshod.
I'm not denying it.
But here's the thing, though.
We've only been established for 11 years.
But here's
it's
my
only
thing.
been 11 years, though. We can't have all the culture
let me finish my take real quick. We go off of that. As far as what we see as a rivalry, we see it as that level of competitiveness always going to be picked to finish at the top. And like just go on for that. In basketball, y'all fit that. It's a rivalry in basketball because we keep going back and forth, and then like the energy is just crazy. Y'all cannot say both Georgia Southern and Georgia State got the two best home court advantages in basketball in the Sun Belt, and it ain't even close. It's not close. It's not close. And every time we play, it's a marquee matchup. It's pure hatred. It's pure trash talking, and it's pure excitement. In football, it's like it's excitement for one side, and it's handling the business on the other. We get it. Y'all handled y'all business, and you beat us. But it's not going to be seen on the rivalry until y'all beat Appalachian State, or until y'all get that until y'all get that Sun Belt title.
Yeah, but even the AD of Southern is the one who talked about the fact that it was a rivalry.
It's a rivalry. Let me tell you something. It's a rivalry. You can't deny it. Like, here's my take. All right. Okay, let's put this in perspective of the NFL. All right, Saints, they won the Super Bowl. Okay, cool. So Saints fans go sit up here and say, "Oh, y'all ain't rivals." Yeah, we are. We see each other every year.
Yep.
That's what makes it a
rivalry.
rivalry.
We're not only conference.
It doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter if you win your conference or not. It's a rivalry.
Yeah, but even the Southern AD talked about being a rivalry. It may not have started that way, so it may not have won at first. But the fact that is that even without the history, because I will admit Georgia State does not have the history, and you talk about that. We have not been Appalachian State, and I fully understand that. I'm not deflecting from that. But the thing is, when you get to the fact that is that Georgia Southern did not intend for this to be a rivalry, but as AD stated, that it became one because of the fact that they allowed it. They allowed for the fact that a program like Georgia State, which hadn't existed 20 years ago, to beat them multiple times. And sure, it may be for you guys handling business, but when those fans come there, and when I talk to some Southern fans, they're saying this game means a lot. You know, the fact that
because y'all talk trash on the media, especially with Ben Moore.
But
when you challenge our fanship, we gonna show up. GS like Georgia Southern travels. We do that. Ask anybody.
Yeah, but when I talk to the fans, it's like this game means a lot. If we don't do anything, beating these guys in Atlanta means a lot. And those fans is passionate.
There are two games that matter. There's y'all and it's Appalachian State. But I promise you, we sold out more. And you could go back and look at the tape when we was on national TV on football. It's Appalachian State where it's the point where we can't stand it. We always say F App State, or we call them crap state. And we call them crap state. Y'all ask me my opinion from a Georgia Southern standpoint and how we look at it. The people you interview will understand that everybody got different opinions. But as far as you had to like actually critique it and do a chart on this and how we really see it, we don't see this as much of a real rivalry. We see this as an arch foe. We get that. But as far as established rivalry, it's not there, but it's getting there. It's not there in our opinion. Now, for me, it's a rivalry. But you asking me as a whole to speak for Georgia Southern, which is kind of hard for me to do. But
the higher up, they even said it was a rivalry. The higher ups of Georgia Southern have even said it's a rivalry. They didn't intend for it to be that way, but it is.
Because of the name, because of the name, because of the asterisk, because of the real GSU.
But guess what? It doesn't matter what made it a rivalry. It's still a rivalry. Like state versus Southern not state. Like that right there is a rivalry. Shouts out to bad girl Jody. She said that she's Quad's auntie. So she's watching the show. So she representing her nephew. That's what's up. But like
I'm not saying it's not a rivalry. I already said I see it as a rivalry.
Yeah, but
you asking me to explain it for like the rest, like from the Georgia Southern viewpoint. I'm going ahead and give you that.
Yeah, but I'm saying I think that I mean, as you said, we haven't beat Appalachian State yet. But I feel like as Georgia Southern, Georgia State becomes a more powerful force in the Sun Belt, and they have from 2010 to what they are now. Because when we beat Georgia Southern, I think the second time, and when we made their first bowl game, we only had 5 wins that season. And as I remember, I think Georgia Southern was like a two touchdown favorite in that game. And for State to come in that game and to beat Southern in Paulson Stadium, that took everyone by surprise, and even took the bowl people who run the bowls by surprise, because Georgia State wasn't projected to be in a bowl game. No one thought they were, but the fact they went to Paulson Stadium and handily handled their business against Southern, I mean, that proved a lot to say that, okay, State fans are like, okay, we actually have to watch out for these guys, because not only have they beaten us once, they've come into our stadium and done it in front of our fans. And yeah, the last 2 years, it has been more lopsided for Southern. But as we saw in the last game on Saturday, State has come a long way in not only making it a rivalry, but making a must-see game for a lot of people in the conference and also a lot of people in the South, especially since Georgia Tech and Georgia are not only not playing this year, but because those games stink.
Again, I'm not knocking anything you said. I don't disagree with what you said. You're asking me for the viewpoint. You're not asking me for my viewpoint. You're asking me for Georgia Southern viewpoint, and I'm answering that because because I know how we think. Now, as for me, I'm gonna speak for myself now. It's a rivalry for the point, like, y'all get recruits from Georgia, right?
Yeah.
So do we. It's about the same name. It's about who's the real GSU. And think about this. The guys that are on Georgia Southern, they know a lot of guys that's on Georgia State, because they probably played each other going back, not even high school, even back to middle school.
Cornelius McCoy talked about he played with a lot of those guys in high school.
Kendall Vildor, the Chicago Bears cornerback, who was preseason defensive player of the year going into 2019. He talked about going on, like, being in Atlanta, like being from Atlanta, like just knowing a bunch of guys that are on that Georgia State team. He talked about being home and all that other stuff going against that. That's a rivalry to me, because you got kids that are from that area that are not in there and that are not going to school in that area, going to school down south and playing their hometown against a team that's in their hometown, going against guys that you probably played since high school. That's a rivalry. That's a rivalry to me because it established like outside of high school, and you can bring that into college because that's a lot of trash talking. I never go into a Georgia State game except maybe track and a little bit of not even baseball. I'm gonna give baseball credit. I'm gonna give baseball some credit. Except for track and maybe golf. I never went to a Southern versus State game and there wasn't no trash talking. I never went to it. I never seen it. There's always gonna be trash talking because I think about
trash talking in the press box.
Yeah, even soccer.
Yeah,
even soccer. Even soccer. That's trash talking. And to me, if you're gonna bring that consistency, that's a rivalry to me. That's a rivalry to me. You always doing trash talking. You can't stand each other. You want the name. Most people can't have it. They can't take it. And when you beat them, it makes you sick. Especially in football, which only comes about once a year.
Yeah.
So I understand. And people, we want the bragging rights, especially me, because I'm a competitor. I want the bragging rights. I got the bragging rights on Auburn. Now next week, my tie got LSU, and I can't wait to beat the Bayou Bums after them chokers after what last year put me through.
Yeah, of course y'all gonna beat them. They trash.
Yeah.
I don't care if they trash or not. I don't care.
That's like saying you want to beat somebody. That's like saying you want to beat somebody behind. Come on, man. That's like saying you want to beat somebody behind that got stage 4 cancer. Come on, man.
I don't care. You did all that talking. You did all that talking. Here's the thing. I learned a wise man once said, when you lose to somebody, and when you lose to somebody, you take your L's. You take your L's like a man. But when you lose and you was talking that stuff, that come with consequences.
Hey man, stop. Man, you remind me of that Dave Chappelle episode. You know he played dude in the NBA Street, that kid that had cancer.
Nah, I ain't see that one.
But you gotta see that one.
I've only seen 3 Dave Chappelle shows.
Yeah, but
with Black Bush, Keeping It Real, and dang, what was the other one? Oh yeah, and the draft, like white people.
Yeah, the racial draft.
Yeah, the racial.
I will say this is probably one of the best weeks for Georgia State sports. We beat Tech. We beat Tech on
basketball in 4 overtimes. I think
4 overtimes. That game was crazy. Didn't go to bed till like probably 1 in the morning. And my friends who actually went to McCamish Pavilion, they didn't get done with their stories until probably 2 in the morning. Man. And Tech fans, as I have on my timeline, I'm not apologizing for anything. Tech fans were talking like, we got the best recruits, we got the better stadium. I can't believe we lost to a Sun Belt team. I'm like, who do you think you're talking to? Tech fans thought that they somehow had the best basketball program like for the last few years for some reason. And then to follow that up and then beating Southern, that was probably the best thing that could have happened that week because we beat 2 in-state rivals and probably 2 programs that thought that they had such an advantage over Georgia State. We still have the best basketball program, and we're growing as a football program. And against Southern, and I think it's, I feel like the time will come when both the Southern and Georgia State match will determine who represents the Sun Belt East in the conference championship someday.
You gotta beat Appalachian State to do it. You have to. You have to.
That's because
in football, because it runs with it. There's 3. There's 3 in the East. It's us, it's Appalachian State, and it's Troy. That has been the 3. You think about the last few East champion winners. It has been us, Appalachian State, and it's been Troy. Y'all gotta get there football wise. And now, if we had enough time to talk basketball, like we can go back and forth. But like football, it's been them 3. Now this year it's been Coastal. And I don't know where that came from. That came out of nowhere.
I don't know.
Coastal came out of nowhere.
Exactly.
They dropped 51.
You gotta do that.
51 on us. I don't know how that happened.
You gotta do that. You gotta do what Coastal did. Coastal came out of nowhere.
I don't know where that came from. They dropped 51 on us for that game.
Nowhere and started taking heads.
You know why? It's coaching. Coaching. Their coaching staff is good. Go look them up.
Yeah, their coaching staff good.
They dropped. That was the worst game I probably ever covered. They dropped 51 on Georgia State, and I think Sean Elliott talked about that was being probably one of the worst games he's ever had to coach as the head coach of Georgia State. That was probably one of the worst games ever played. I'm like, yeah, that was awful. But you get what I'm saying. There was also
I'm
saying they've gotten closer to doing that. I say before last year, Georgia State didn't even have a lead against Appalachian State in the games they played. Last year they had a 21-7 lead against Appalachian State, but because Darlington had a torn ACL, that didn't last long. And this year they had probably their best chance to do it, and it was a defensive game where Georgia State held the Mountaineers to 17 points.
And Zach Thomas turned it up.
Yeah.
All right. So who will run the state 10 years from now? So it's 2020. We're looking at 2030. Who's going to run the state? I don't care about no stadiums. Let me tell you, I don't care about no stadiums. I don't care about we talking about the actual rivalry. We're not talking about Sun Belt championships and then like we talking about
Actually, we got to. We have to, because like you're going. That's a bragging rights. That comes with it.
Yeah.
Let you
go first, man.
All right, go ahead.
So in 10 years, I'm still going with my Eagles. I'm still saying Hail Southern. You look at the future, Georgia Southern will always start in recruiting. Now, will we hit some bumps in the road? Of course we will. That comes with it. You don't go no perfect decade. You will hit bumps in the road. We will have some coaching losses. We will try like our best to do, but we'll always recruit talent. We will always get that talent, and sometimes we'll always take that talent from Atlanta. It's been a proven fact. So in the next 10 years, we'll be fine. We're gonna be better, and the rivalry's still gonna run from Atlanta. And within them 10 years, the division of the East in football in the Sun Belt will ride from those three. Now, can I say that about Georgia State? I can't say that right now. Can I say it's unbecoming and get better? Yes, I can. It has. It's shown some signs. But until it actually gets to that point, I'm still saying Georgia Southern, because they're always going to be picked in the top three, or even number 1 or number 2 in the division of the Eastern Division of the Sun Belt to win the division. So in those 10 years, I still got Georgia Southern.
All right.
So, next 10 years, for one thing, this is our first 10 years. And I feel like Darlington's, during that last 2 years, he was the first quarterback that we had, for one that we had consistently, and that one that we actually got from community college, and one that believed in the system that we were doing. Sean Elliott was probably the first guy who brought a culture inside Georgia State. We didn't have that with Bill Curry. We didn't have that with our previous coaches. What Sean Elliott did is he established a culture, something we didn't have in the first 10 years. And that matters a lot when you go forward in terms of making a football program, especially in a city like Atlanta. And I think as we going forward, I think you're going to see a rise of Georgia State to actually dominate, one, because Sean Elliott is going to be the figurehead going forward. We haven't had a figurehead at Georgia State. We haven't had, in terms of athletic directors before that, we didn't have one who actually believed in the football program. We didn't have a stadium, for one, that we could tell recruits, that's our place. That's what you can go to. Something we have now. And it's continuing renovations are done in the next 10 years. You'll continually see that. And I think especially, recruiting wise, it's not just Atlanta. We drafted well out of Alabama. We also drafted well out of other surrounding states. Something we've done well at. And especially recruiting of running backs has been stellar. We had Trey Barnett, and now we have Page, we have Bennett. I mean, we have done so well when it comes to the offense. Our offense at one point was 4th nationally in scoring. So as soon as we get that defense going, we're going to run with this. We're going to run the Sun Belt. And I think you're going to see a lot nationally, a lot of people pay attention to Georgia State, because this is going to be the place to be, especially as more students gravitate to the program, because we actually have a culture that we didn't have the first 10 years. It's going to be State. No school will have the attention brought on it more than Georgia State. We're in Atlanta. That's the capital of the South. And so we're going to be able to run the rivalry for the next 10 years or so. And we're going to be one of the faces of college football in Georgia.
Now I will give y'all credit too, because I think as far as we talking about funding, we talking about funding wise, public, like Georgia State is the biggest public university in the state. When we're talking about population wise. So that does play a hand as well when the regents of the state of Georgia, when they hand out, funding for the schools, that right there is going to be upper hand for Georgia State.
Yeah, 53,000 growing.
Yeah, but far as tradition goes, it goes to Southern.
Yeah,
you can't deny. 5 national championships? Was it 5 or 6 national?
I think
championships?
It's 6.
6 national championships. Yep. Just a prestigious school. So when you senior, high school, you got, hey, do I want to go here? I know that they have scholarships for me, or should I go here that 6-time national champions, very prestigious football program?
Culture set, traditions are made like before and after a game, just how everything rolls in Statesboro, not to mention just the family atmosphere, because this is a legit family atmosphere. It's one thing about being like in a college that's in the city area, there's more to do, but when you're a part of a college town where pretty much everybody's going to know who you are, it's kind of different. Now it's different, both good and good, both in a good way and a bad way, because it depends on how you take it. But like, you gotta think with me, and you think with me, I'm a small town kid where everybody just know who you are. It's just good. It's just like, it's amazing for me. It's amazing for me because they're gonna know who you are, and the relationship's gonna last forever. But I guess that's almost wherever you go.
Mm. Yeah, and I also will say, I think as Georgia State continues to improve the facilities, it's the first, because we've only had Turner Field for a couple of years now, and only playing the Georgia Dome, that was probably one of the worst things we could do at that time. The Georgia Dome was big; it was not suited for us to play, and I feel not just with having Center Park Stadium as is now known, but also the co-vacation center that's being built right now for the basketball team. You're talking about a tradition being built. And also in terms of the city, a lot of recruits like to be looked at. So when you're playing in Atlanta, one of the biggest television markets and growing fast, that's going to be attractive to sell. That's going to be it's going to be a selling point for Georgia State. You will play in Atlanta where you will have eyes on you. People will tweet about you. And so it's easy to get it's easy to get to know about you when it comes to if you're good enough to get in the draft. And so I feel like it's a big plus for Georgia State. Now, Georgia State's got a lot of things to work on, of course. It's still a work in progress. But I feel like the way they're going right now, we're not that far from being a Sun Belt, champion
Contender
in the near future. Considering the near future.
All right.
Georgia State won this game because their defense made a play.
Yeah.
Defense matters.
Yeah, our last 3 games, our defense actually showed up. This is the same defense that gave up 59 points to Arkansas State. And that was in a shootout. So, yeah. And I feel like we're a very balanced offense that can really run the ball and pass it. So, can't wait for the future for Georgia State.
Like I said, I ain't taking away nothing from the game. I already said my piece. I talked a lot about us. They did their thing. They did what they're supposed to do. They did what any team is supposed to do. Take advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah. I wish we could have done this for basketball. We got to do this for basketball because
look. Let's look at the schedule. See when y'all play. Hey, we'll do a show.
You ain't gotta tell me. I already got the schedule here. It's just like the way
somebody on 11th. The first game's on the 11th of
but we got to go to y'all, and then y'all kind of come back. Like we go there Friday, then
Sunday,
Saturday.
Okay, yeah, we go.
Sunbelt changed this whole schedule up because of COVID.
Yeah, 2 divisional games.
January 1st we play South Alabama. Y'all got Troy. But I think that's how you go. So like y'all playing Friday and then play them again on Saturday. We play South Alabama on Friday and then play them again on Saturday. That's how they're doing it this year because of COVID.
It's easy to trace if somebody got it. It's easy.
Yeah, I understand why they're doing it. It's just like it's a big headache to me.
Yeah, contact tracing.
But I understand. It just
plus that last game between Southern. People were angry if that last game versus Southern before everything shut down.
Wait, okay.
The game,
what you mean by angry?
Basketball. State fans were angry about how that game turned out. We were so goddamn angry.
Oh man, that was fun. That was a great night. I skipped class for that one.
I don't think as a college we've been as irate as that game. Like, my God, we let you guys have free reign of the 3-point line, second chance points.
Yep.
And after we humiliated you guys in Southern, which was probably the best thing because you guys jumped a 13-point lead. So you guys are more like the Falcons than anything else.
Yep.
Yeah, but you guys still aren't going to measure up to us. I mean,
but also no, you skipped something. What like 2 games before the end of the season, we went to y'all place where we haven't won since '92, and we broke that streak, and y'all actually had a sold out crowd.
Yeah, I think that was either the whiteout or the black, but whatever. That
was a whiteout.
We
letting everything, like y'all crowd was talking trash and everything. We came over, took that over, and our crowd wasn't even loud that day. We didn't have the fans. Now when it hit Sunbelt tournament, Oh, Georgia Southern travel. Georgia Southern travel on that one.
I'm not sure if we're doing the same thing as like when we
Oh,
played
no,
the first few
no.
games and on because I know they moved to Sun Belt Championship.
It's gonna be in Florida this year, which I feel like that's gonna be a whole lot better than New Orleans.
Yeah, New Orleans was awful. That was just God, I hate that. But it's gonna be in Pensacola, Florida.
Yep,
But
and it's
yeah,
nice.
Yeah, that's nice. And they ain't
Yeah.
bad of a drive neither. So
because New Orleans, man. I think if some fans wanted to be in Atlanta, they wanted
We
to
play
get
y'all in
some feel.
February.
Yeah, we play us on February 11th.
Oh,
first
dang,
game.
they do give. Okay, so yeah, we play y'all 11, and then they give us a little bit of leeway. So they kind of trained it up for like the rivalry, travel partner
Yeah,
games.
it's gonna be capacity. The game against Tacoma Falls that we played our first home opener had a capacity. I don't remember what the capacity crowd was, but it's definitely not gonna be as loud. But yes, fans are gonna show up. The basketball
Let me
games,
guess. Lower floors were closed.
yeah, lower floors were closed, and they had us back. They had us back towards the end of part of the stands. It's different. Yeah, but the crowd's still gonna be loud. Southern basketball games against Southern basketball or something else. But especially as we get that new stadium, oh man, it's gonna be something else.
Let me ask you this: do you remember the year when the Super Bowl was in Atlanta?
Yeah,
And everybody was talking about that. But as soon as we came to town, it was like the whole conversation just changed.
yeah.
Now y'all won that game, but just like it was something like that's why I love it when we play. I love it when we play each other in basketball. It's different.
Yeah.
all right. Well, hey, I'm glad to have y'all on tonight to just pretty much talk about this rivalry because I know this Wednesday, a lot of people enjoyed it. So we back again. Thank y'all for coming on again. Once again, Jalen, tell everybody who you are, where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at the Prince Boy, That's boy with an I, Prince Boy 15, and just hit me up. I will follow back unless you're a Cowboy fan.
All right. Julian.
You can find me at my Twitter handle at Julian Harden 3, and I run a YouTube channel called Cynical Peach, and I'm actually putting out a new video about why it stays better than Southern in a couple of days. So check that out.
All right, and also fellow Georgia Sports Hospitality and Media content creator as well. Once again, new co-host King. Everybody
King
know where they can find you.
at Aaron Moses NC on Twitter. You can also find me on Facebook. It's the King and the Don. We here to stay.
Exactly. So appreciate
Stay
y'all.
not Southern.
Southern not stay all day.
Rise up, yeah.
All right. So appreciate y'all coming on tonight. If you're new to the channel, you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Also, if you're watching this on Facebook or on Twitter, guys, go to YouTube and hit that subscribe button. All right. We're trying to grow our numbers. All right. It's free. We're not asking you to pay us a dime. All right. But your contribution to subscribing will help us, grow and also make some residuals off YouTube. Also, hit that like button, share this content out with Atlanta sports fanatics, and hit us up in the comment section. As always, come holler at your hometown sports podcast. Once again, this is the Dunn, co-host King. Hey, y'all have a great evening, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. We'll be talking Atlanta United sports tomorrow. So, see y'all then.